Good morning. Welcome to this game, Trinidad versus Guyana, in the Cricket West Indies T20 Blaze Series. These are this is one of the final round of matches in this Blaze Series. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago will play against Guyana. The teams are already ready. The umpires are on the square. The umpires are Carl Tuckett and Brown. Brown, his name is? Okay. The umpires. Bernard Joseph and Carl Tuckett. The two batters for, well, the Guyana team will bat first. So this is the Guyana. The two batters, Sharon Campbell, is that correct?
No, the batters.
Mentor.
Grimmond.
Grimmond. Okay, there you are. Shinetta Grimmond. And Mentor will take first strike as the Trinidadians take the field. Of course, we are located in St. Paul's in St. Kitts. We're in the northern part of the island, of course, just about a mile, maybe a mile and a half away from where one of the French galleons back in 1625 came in, and of course, from that position, of course, St. Kitts was colonized by the French in that same year of 1625, and so we're just about a mile and a half further north of an old town called Deep Bay. And of course, we are here on St. Kitts. The umpire has now signaled to the scorers that the game is on. And so therefore, the Grimmond will be taking place. Grimmond will be facing first delivery from the north. Lisa Mohammed is the bowler, and of course we're live and lively from St. Paul's. The first delivery was bowled and no eventuality, just slightly wide of off stump, and was allowed to go through. This is one of the final three matches. This one is played nicely out into the onside. They sought to take a single but was denied. And of course, the score remains 0. And coming with me at the moment, let me say good morning to a very famous voice of Alistair Edwards. So it's not for naught. Alicia Mohammed comes again, and that one bubbled apparently off the pads. No. The Trinidadians are aesthetic. Well, there is. She's out actually. Ball came maybe not from the pad but from the bat and was taken at short fine leg, and so she's out caught. So Guyana going down without a score on the board. There's one wicket going down with Grimmond out caught of Anisa Mohammed for 0.
Well, we somewhat missed that one because she was trying to flick it into the onside. It looks as if it hit the tips and balloon in the air, and the fielder from, I think it was Cooper, from slip, who just ran around and took the balloon in ball. Easy catch, easy wicket. Trinidad celebrating.
Yes, a good blow to set back Guyana, and of course they would like to win this game. In fact, both teams will be in it for the points that's available, and of course it is understood that. So the one out was Mentor. She was out caught of Mohammed. So both teams, of course, would like to have the points, even though many people feel that the tournament has been won already.
By?
I don't know.
Well, I think they are all judging the what do you call it now, the for want of a better word, the blows back leewards.
Yes.
The bubbly, everybody beating up on the leewards, and so they expect Barbados to beat the leewards by a healthy margin, and in that way, Barbados. Oh, and she takes
That's
it.
another catch taken.
On a second
Disaster. Go ahead.
On a second attempt, the batter was looking to cut. Ball came off the top edge and right down the throat of Brittany Cooper, who juggled it and then eventually dove on it as it came from her hands. So it's now 2 wickets down for 0. Guyana in deep, deep trouble.
Yes, Guyana be getting a short delivery, a little wide off stump. Apparently, she thought it was wide. There might have been some movement in it. I cannot see from this position. And she cut at it, and it went to slip and was taken on the second attempt. So Guyana, without a run on the board, they are 2 wickets down. And this, of course, spells some disaster for them. You suggest that the game may be still wide open, but I think Barbados is kind of out front with things. And if you think they will beat up on the Leewards today, the Leewards seem to have been showing some resilience of late, particularly with their batting.
Well, but the Barbados team is wary of that because I heard an interview and they were pointing to the way that Leewards batted in their last game, posting some 120 runs and making a fight out of their last game. So they're not going to take them for granted. And what wonders, what prize the Leeward could go home with if they could upset a team like Barbados. Here's the same chop shot coming from Shemaine Campbell, sorry.
So the Leewards have everything to play for, some pride, and if they can defeat Barbados, it will go a long way to encourage the Leewards to continue to build. So 1 run, 2 wickets. It's not a good position for Guyana.
Well, all hopes going to be pinned upon Campbell, the captain, who had a good outing in the last match. She made a half century, and they're hoping that she can double that on this occasion because at the moment, Mohammed has started hitting her straps and well on target, picking up 2 wickets.
And Trinidad could feel proud of their efforts thus far. I don't know if the atmosphere has anything to do with it. There was a bit of rain in the mountain area just behind us in the southern parts. It was coming across the mountain. I was hoping it didn't come by to the grounds. And there's a very stiff breeze blowing across the ground. Whether that is impacting affairs and incidents on the field is still it's something to look at. And now we have, from the southern end, there is Ramharat.
Ramharat, it looks like.
Ramharat is taking up.
They've gone back to their black numbers and their long hair.
So we can't see the numbers very well. Ramharat.
Not begrudging them of their long hair, the Trinidadians.
No, by all means not. That one is just outside off stump. But, the Trinidadians they're all boisterous. They're chirping and, of course, encouraging one another to continue to hold the Guyanese at bay. 1 run for 2 wickets. It's not a good position.
Ramharat is normally miserly with her bowling. She has line and leg down pat and she teases and taunts just outside the off stump. And not giving you anything to drive, not getting anything to pull. She's just thereabouts. Loops at that one and it's driven down the ground, out to long on. 1 more run.
Of course, we're still within the power play. The first 6 overs, there is 1 person out on the deep mid-wicket boundary. There's no one out on the offside. Just 1 man out. Everybody else seems to be within a given circle. And, of course, the Trinidadians keeping things rather tight.
Well, they allowed 2 out. But with 2 wickets down, I think Mohammed wanted to apply the pressure.
You can see. No, there's only 1 out, mid-wicket. Again, the battle continues. Ramharath bowling a rather tight line, to say the least, and not giving Campbell anything to go with.
Oh, swing, a ask, a shout, a denial.
Yeah. Yes, the pressure is on. That's the end of the over number 2. The score is still 1, 2 for 2. 2 for 2. And Campbell is in place with Grimmond, having lost Mentor and Gashnabi. We have lost Grimmond.
is
We
the
have
one who
lost
went,
Grimmond.
yeah, Grimmond is the one who
And we have lost Gashnabi. And so therefore Mentori is with Campbell.
Mentor is being mentored by
Yeah.
Campbell. Campbell
He's
swings,
one-
looped up in the air, and this will be the third. No, it's dropped. Oh my God.
Yes, this was the one that she tried to pull or sweep, if you want to call
Slug
it that.
sweep, yeah.
Apparently, it took a top edge, and the person that shot backward square or shot fine leg made a mess of what should have been a very simple catch.
You have to take part of it. The sun might have been a factor.
The sun could have been a
Remember,
factor.
We're playing at 8 o'clock in the morning.
That
and
is
the
correct.
sun is just coming over. And I'm sure if you interview her, she will tell you that. I'm looking for excuses? No, but the sun really is streaming in from that side. It's cool conditions, but
I agree that the
What-
sun is coming out, but it looked pretty simple to me. And it could have gone up into the sun. I do not know from this position.
what a position they would have been in. Losing Campbell as the third wicket without 10 runs on the board. Well,
Again, Mohammed, of course, applying the pressure. She has 2 persons out now on mid-wicket and a deep long-on position. Just, of course, someone gets ambitious. And again, it's a very quiet period here. And Trinidad taking the better of the early exchanges. And Guyana, of course, trying to fight back. With Campbell there is some hope for recovery.
luckily, she's still there. She has to pat the rabbit foot in her pocket.
Are you a bit suspicious, aren't you?
Well, we've heard about all kind of superstitions. for cricketers,
Superstitious.
Yeah.
You are superstitious.
They,
aren't you?
they step over the rope with the left foot,
Or the
make
right
a
foot.
cross, or, things like that.
Could make things bad.
Just to make them comfortable in their minds.
Or if they put
But-
on a clean pair of socks.
And ask,
Here is
a plead, and again the umpire is not moved. Well,
well, the Trinidadians
just to indicate that the over has ended.
they are trying everything in terms of trying to keep Guyana at bay. And in my view, the symphony of voices beckoning to the umpire was almost compelling. But of course, the umpire was unmoved in that one. It was short, and she was pulling apparently a bit high. And as you say, ask and no reply.
But he moved,
He moved to say, end of the
End
over.
over, yes. Ramharak's second over. Edge down to slip, but falling well short of Anisa Mohammed in the slip. But biting the edge nonetheless, a good sign for the bowler. And it's coming from the bat of Campbell. She seems to have struck firmly. Now she sweeps and gets it well to pass backward squares, rush into the boundary. Rope beckons the ball and welcomes the ball into its arms. 4 runs.
And that takes us to go to 7 for 2. And of course, with only one person out on the leg side, I wonder if there is a temptation to put another. That is not the case. Still just one person out, and 2 persons out. A deep wide long arm and a deep mid wicket.
More
This
runs.
one was cut away to the behind point, and a dive was missed, and the ball continued down for 2.
I think it was partially stopped, probably knocking it down.
Who was out some time ago, so do forgive me, Al.
All is forgiven.
Thank you.
Is human.
Says Ramharat again, short. There's a tendency to be pitching short, and they're playing back to these short deliveries. Of course,
A bit of a mixed bag coming from her, Ramarak on that occasion. She's normally tight and miserly outside that off stump and a teasing line, as I said before. But on this occasion, she gave Campbell a chance to sweep, which means the ball was pitched leg going for the down legs. And the other one was a short one outside the off stump, which she
Northern end with the Caribbean Sea at her back.
Did you check with the geography teacher
Yeah.
in the back to
I
find out
got-
if this is the Caribbean Sea or this is the Atlantic
Atlantic
Ocean? Or this is a mix of the Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Ocean.
Well, not yet.
Let's go to the mix.
It's a mix, okay. This one is, she's bold, I think it is. She went for a slug sweep, as it was, into the onside. She missed it, and she was bowled by Anissa Mohammed.
But I was in the throes of getting the correct information from Mr. Geography when I looked around and saw an almighty lofted drive that missed everything, and the ball did not miss anything at all. It went where it was supposed to go, into the stumps. 3 wickets down now for Guyana.
And that brings Mandy Mango to the wicket. Of course, the one out was Mentori, as you prefer to say, going after that big slug sweep, which she missed it, and she was bowled. Of course, they say if you bowl online, if you miss, I will hit.
Well, that is the
And
case.
in this case, she missed, and Anissa Mohammed hit her castles, and they went tumbling. 9 it is for 3, and of course, my score were keeping me well in line, and of course, keeping me in line as well is my geography teacher, my son's geography teacher. You want to call his name?
Mr. Duckworth Lewis.
Mr. Duckworth Lewis, of course. So, in the early exchanges, Trinidad and Tobago exercising themselves well. Mohammed doing almost magic here, and the Guyanese fighting to survive. And of course, they still have Campbell with them, and she's one of the, she represents close to 30 to 40% of their runs. And of course, if she departs, then it could be even greater disaster. Here's Mohammed again. Outside. Well, I'm not speaking about this game in particular. There are some members of some teams that represent a certain percent of the runs, and that is why sometimes if a particular person doesn't play, they will look. The other day, the Leewards took the chance. I think it was the Leewards or the Wind was there, and they sent Barbados into bat. But at the same time, there wasn't Haley Matthew, and they felt, hey, Haley is not there. We stand our best chance, inserting them, and well, it didn't work in their favor really. But Barbados, they have good batting all the way through. But Haley Matthew represents 45% of what runs Barbados make on a normal basis. And so, such is Campbell. She represents quite a tidy percentage of what they will do.
But recall too, she was after a torrid start with this tournament.
Yes, that is correct. Maybe that's why Guyana struggled up to a certain point.
Hardly getting the ball off the square, making low scores, and recently got into a run of form. You see now having a discussion with Mandy Mango. Mandy Mango normally opens the innings, but there's no pace down there today. It's all spin and more spin.
Looking at Mango with that last delivery, Al, she seemed as though she wanted to pull that delivery, and in the very last, in the last minute, she pulled away from the pull and she played it straight back to the bowler. And of course, the last wicket that fell, which was Mentor, she got into a slug sweep situation and she missed it and was comprehensively bowled. Is that the same bowler or there's a change of bowler, Al? Could you confirm?
It looks as a change in bowling.
Yes. From this position, we cannot recognize the numbers on the back because they are black, And there's a run-out situation. The umpire negates the appeal, and so Ramnath is the bowler. Ramnath is the bowler. A ball that was played out gently. The fielder from the backward point area ran in and sought to effect a run-out, and the umpire decided that it was not out, so all is well that ends well. Okay.
Just making sure.
Here's another single again. Ball played gently into the point area. The fielder came around quite quickly, but not before they can effect a single. It's about 12 now for 3 wickets, 11 for 3. Miscommunication. There's a ball that was chopped away, and the batter decided to advance, maybe not calling, and so her co-partner did not respond, and so she had to get back into her crease. Let me welcome to the microphone Monarch. If I say Clement O'Gara, some people might not understand, but Monarch. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. McCall. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. It's a beautiful morning, isn't it?
Yeah, and a jam session in this room.
Yes, it's a jam session.
I'm telling you, it's a holiday weekend. I mean, we might as well take it to K-On when we're done for Green Valley, right?
Of course, let me encourage you when you're passing to go to K-On. There is a food fair put on by the Moravians in mansions. So you have to remember, you have to get your monkey meat and the various stuff that will be available. Tremendous food fair. It goes on every year.
I don't know about the monkey meat, though.
Well, tree mutton, as I was. Okay, there's the end of the power play. Yes, Al Edwards asked me to correct that. Instead of monkey meat, it's tree mutton. Of course, well doved and beautiful. Just would like to.
What's that, a fancy name for a food that is... I don't like anything that climb trees unless they're human.
Alicia Mohammed again, she bowls and pulled away down to deep backward square leg. The fielder from deep mid wicket came around, and of course 2 runs were had.
But now to the game, though, McCall. Guyana has a chance of actually winning the tournament, so I'm surprised they're playing so poorly today. Both Guyana and Barbados are on top with 8 points.
Thank you.
Barbados, of course, have the better net run rate, so I'm surprised that Guyana is looking so measly today.
Yes.
But Anisa Mohammed is a wily competitor, and she looks like she's done some damage so far by taking all 3 wickets.
Yeah, of course, with some indiscretions here or there. And of course,
well, is she causing the indiscretion or not?
Yes, she is. And of course, with the early morning start, of course, the ball will do so much more. You know, there's a lot.
Oh, that's a great catch. And they are all celebrating. Well, it's Anisa Mohammed again. Brittany Cooper in the slip. One-handed dive to her right and snap that one out the air. Well. 13 for 4?
Yes, and the one to get out there is Campbell. 14, I think it is. 14 for 4. And of course, this is the 4th wicket for Mohammed. And so we see the Campbell departing. I said earlier that Campbell represented about 30 to 40% of the runs that Guyana
And she
made.
does. She's
For some reason she got out, and now that puts Guyana in an even worse position than they ought to be. You know?
yeah, she scored 102. Prior to this innings, she scored 102 runs for the tournament so far. I think one batter equaled her at 102. And then I think the Knight from Barbados was the leading run scorer with 108. But just to let you know, Anisa Mohammed, she's doing the thing here this morning at St. Paul's. She has 4 wickets. And Brittany Cooper, who is one of the other stars in the team, the TNT Red Force Divas, she has 3 catches so far.
Yes, Brittany Cooper, quite athletically built, if I may say. And she, of course, is one of the main batters for Trinidad and Tobago. She's also very brilliant in the field, and to have taken that catch, I don't know if I could have done better. But
well, not at your age, sir. or let me correct it, not at our age.
Use my age, because I'm much older than yours. And so, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, having a chance to win this competition.
Absolutely.
They've been set back really badly. Sharon Fraser comes to the wicket, and one would hope to see much more application than we saw earlier. And of course, those 4 wickets all attributed to the bowling of at least Anisa Mohammed.
Well, just to let you know, of course, we have 2 other games that's taking place right now. Leewards are playing tournament leaders Barbados. They're 32 for 1 in 5 overs. That's the Leewards. And Jamaica, 13 without loss in 2.1 overs. They're playing against the Windward Islands. So we got cricket, lovely cricket here in Sweet Sugar City.
Of course, there's a Masters championship going on as well. Leeward Islands, the Masters champion.
Yes, and the game starts at 9 o'clock this morning in Molyneux. You got 5 teams here, including the host St. Kitts. So lots of cricket. Just not a lot of people to watch the cricket.
That is true. Nisa Mohammed again, and she winds up one just about a few inches outside off. And that's the end of the over. That's the end of her spell. And she bowled through, of course, and she has done some damage to the Guyanese. 5 runs, 4 wickets. 1 maiden. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 4 wickets, 5 runs. You could not ask for better. And this is she looks as if she's going off with a little hop and a little hamstring or maybe ankle. Of course,
Well,
at least she have done what she had to do, and Trinidad could be rather proud of her efforts today.
Well, it's going home day today, so not sure. Some of these teams may be wanting to get back to the hotel a little bit earlier than normal. That's the way that Guyana is batting right now. But so Ramnat, she will take up the attack from the southern end.
This is the southern end.
Wow. We've had that debate already, so I'll leave that one alone.
Yes, please. And when the geography teacher would have laid the law down that is the case, then I don't have any evidence against, and so we'll just have to go along with him.
Yeah, but I've never seen south with the mountains in the back of me.
That's because you've not come here for a long time.
I know. We're forever having this geography class here in St. Paul's. I think we need the mayor Theo to settle the matter.
We're in over number 8 as this one bounced off the keeper for a minute, and Brittany went away from the slip. Of course, there's still there are 2 fielders in the outfield, one at deep mid-wicket and one at deep and wide long on, and they are still doing it rather well. Still the debate continues as to where is east, west, north or south. The debate continues, and I'll go along with my geography teacher. Patted out quietly into the offside. Still quite some debate. This one is outside the off stump and left alone by Sharon Fraser. The end of the 8th over. And of course, Guyana again struggling quite a bit. And with 4 wickets down for less than 20 in any game is not good.
Struggling mightily, I should say, here at St. Paul's. And, you know, in looking at the leaderboard, Kiana Joseph from the Windward Islands, she has she's in her 5th match, right? Well, everybody's in their 5th match as well. She had 4 innings, 108 runs. Charmaine Campbell from Guyana, who was the last batter to get out here, she moved up. She's completed, of course, all her innings, 104 runs. So there's opportunity for Kaisia Knight and Kiana Joseph to get some more runs as well. Stephanie Taylor, who made an impressive score in her last game, finally, she's also in the mix. She has 95 runs in the 4 innings she's played so far.
A change of bowling for the 9th over. The bowler, Sugrim, Steffi Sugrim. She too is one of the leading bowlers. And this one is played out in the air and almost going to a short long on there or a short mid on and dropping just before it got to the fielder. Some indiscretion forced by Sugrim. A very energetic campaigner, Sugrim. Left arm, she is. Quietly played out. Of course, St. Paul's, I was saying, is in the northern parts of the island. It's about a mile and a half, maybe less than a mile and a half from Deep Bay, or a mile from Deep Bay. It's where there was an old town there called, well, it's still there, Deep Bay, one of the French-owned occupied territories back in those days. Still carry the same name. And this one is tickled to short fine leg and single. So we move on to, it's a leg by. Nothing coming off the bat these days. And of course, a French galleon ran ashore there. It was badly damaged. And that is how they got here. And
I assume your geography teacher taught you that
60,
one as well?
Yes, history teacher. 1625 that happened. And of course, St. Kitts was colonized by the French in that same year. So he's so grim once again. Played intending to pierce that short mid-wicket area, but not being able to do so. Very dire situation for Guyana, but it's early days yet, and they say runs on the board. They only have about 15 or 14 or 15 of them, but at least 16, but one can never know. Bold. This one was lined up just about leg stump. She's bowling, as it were, over the wicket, and she came inside the line, intending to turn it behind square. She missed it and was bowled comprehensively. That's Sharian Fraser, bowled by Sugrim.
Well, another wicket goes down for Guyana. So 16 now for 5. That's the score here at St. Paul's, and a very unimpressive batting display so far from Guyana. Of course, in the leader, in the points table, they have actually 12 points from their 4 games with 3 wins, 1 loss. So too Barbados, and so there was definitely an opportunity for Guyana to stake a claim to the championship here. Of course, the reigning champs Jamaica, not in the running, I should say, for the championship. As I welcome Mr. Troy Biff Mills,
Good morning, Mr. Monarch. Good morning to listeners. Good morning, Mr. Monarch. Good morning to listeners and viewers. Lovely day for cricket. Last round of matches in the CG United Insurance T20 Blaze for the females. Guyana going into this round in a very strong position, however, relinquishing that position for this game.
And a wide from the bowler coming into the new batter, number 7. Schultz is the batter. And Sugrim is the bowler. So Sugrim will come in once more to bowl to Schultz. And she plays that one back down the track. And things have been very quiet here. The end of the 10th over. The 9th over. 17 for 5. And before you think about the game so far?
By the widest stretch of the imagination, not a very good position. Not a good position at all for the Guyanese to be in. They came into this match, Monarch, as the number 1 seed, so to speak, in number 1 place. They had 12 points and net run rate of 0.327. Barbados, on the other hand, they were second with a net run rate of minus 0.247. And it appears as if the Guyanese are relinquishing that position. They not only had to win the match, but the net run rate, they had an advantage. So were they to win, their net run rate would have determined, assuming Barbados won.
Of course, that's the case as well. Barbados have to win as well.
And it's likely they may win because they're playing the Leeward Islands, who have yet to secure the point in this round. Well, in the entire competition, both the 50 overs and the 20 overs.
Well, maybe today is that day.
A strong position, 32 for 1 after 5 overs, Leeward Islands. And interesting, Monarch, the Leewards have 2 batters in the top 10. But they're not quite seeing the benefits of that in the scorecard, in the points table.
Top 10, top heavy.
Amanda Edwards, she's been up there. When I last checked, before this round, I think she was 3rd or 4th or thereabout, 5th. She was actually 6th with 89 runs. The ones have not been so flourishing individually, well, as a team as well, for this competition.
But not really, but I think what has happened is this is basically the standard for the women's 20. We haven't seen a score. Have we seen a score go past 150?
Not at all.
So
It tells me the West Indies board have a brilliant opportunity to help to further develop female cricket in the West Indies. And of course, that will need to happen when the territorial boards develop cricket as well. And we know here in St. Kitts Nevis, we are part of the Leeward Islands, and our female cricket is still in the embryonic stages, were I to say so. Nice dab by Mango, beating Cooper, who took a brilliant catch. Not too many fielders of any age would have been able to take that catch. Maybe Monarch?
absolutely not. That was a brilliant catch indeed. And just to let the public know, she has 3 catches in this match so far. So here we are at the halfway stage of the Guyana innings. And the score is not very impressive at all. Looks like it's 22 for 5 after 10. 22 for 5 after 10. And Mangru, she's not out on 5. She's faced 15 balls. And Schultz, who just came to the wicket, she's 1 from 2 deliveries. So Trinidad and Tobago Red Force Divas are looking to make this an early day today. Dave, so you can go get your black pudding and goat water and barbecue because
And
you
trim
know,
mutton, and I like trim mutton.
and yeah. I don't know about that.
You should try it, Monarch. Stewed or curried. It has me salivating just thinking about that.
I know. No,
Yummy, yummy.
no, I
You should try
I
it,
hear them.
Monarch.
I hear them running on my roof and interfering with my neighbor's garden. You know, and no, I maybe one of these days.
You should try it.
Unknowingly, though.
I'm not certain how many countries in the Caribbean actually eat trim mutton, and those of us who may not know what trim mutton is, that's the monkey. A
So-
delicacy here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Stewed, curried, barbecued.
Okay. And if you want that, you can get that on the K-On strip today, you say, Mr. McCall?
At the food fee in Manchester.
Oh, it's in Mansion. Okay.
And strangely enough, in Monarch, when they have food fairs or expos, what do you think is the first meat kind that is finished?
Chicken.
Not at all. Trim mutton.
Yeah,
Trim mutton, always.
Yeah, because there's no flesh. Anyway, we're back to the game. Yes, that's a Kittitian delicacy. I will try it one of these days.
Of the 6 batters, Monarch, only 3 of them got off the mark.
Yes,
One
it's-
got into double figures.
It's and that's Charmaine Campbell, the captain of the
Sorry,
Guyana
3 got
team.
off.
Three of them.
We had 3 ducks.
And yes, 3 other batters who have made some runs. So this is
Campbell 13.
Grimon coming in. Sugrim. And she's bowling to Schultz.
That looks like mango.
Mangru.
Before this game, Monarch, persons would have felt that this could have been considered a semi-final because of the nature. Trinidad and Tobago, they have an outside chance of winning this competition. So too are the Jamaicans.
Yeah, of course, all of them will have to win, though.
And hope
then
a lot of things happen otherwise.
Correct, yeah.
Including Leeward Islands beating Barbados.
it's a dependency syndrome.
Yes.
When it comes to the other teams. But in cricket, you know, anything is, no, certain things are possible. Not
Game of
anything.
glorious uncertainties.
I say uncertainties.
Dark clouds looming around, but the sun is fighting, throwing some degree of brilliance. And the Trinidadians really on top at this point. Mango and Schultz. Mango perhaps the quickest runner in the wicket for the Guyanese. These two will have to make some magic. They'll have to pull something out of the bag. And not just something, Monarch, something massive, gigantic, enormous.
I mean, we've had certain types of play in the different games. Some teams start strong. This looks dead. LBW, she's looking back at the umpire, but I think this is
And
dead.
the
on
Guyanese
the
are
middle.
sinking further into trouble. 22 for 6, Monarch.
In the 11th over. So there's still quite a few overs to go. But we're all the way in the tail now, and I don't think the batter is very happy at all with the decision of the umpire. But the umpire's decision is final in this and almost every other occasion. So Trinidad and Tobago Red Force Divas making mince tree monkey of the Guyana team.
Really mincing them up. 22 for 6 after 10.4 overs. The positive thing about this for the Guyanese, they have a lot of overs left.
But not a lot of batters.
That's the very negative thing about it.
That's the most. Hey, listening, talking about cricket, of course, you know, the West Indies A is over in Bangladesh, and they had a great victory 2 mornings ago. So congratulations to Josh De Silva and the team. Kevin Sinclair, who took 7 wickets and made 32 runs in the first innings, was adjudged man of the match, or the MVP. And Brandon King finally got off the mark with 54. He had made 2 ducks in the previous innings that he had batted. So he got off the mark. And they still haven't gotten Josh De Silva out as yet. He's been not out in every single innings that he's played. So good job to the West Indies A captain and the team on a whole for beating Bangladesh. Bangladesh A, that is.
West Indies on the 19 female captain, Monisa. She's now going to battle for her country. Coming forward there, Monarch, looking like a number 1, 2, or 3 bat.
Well, there's always 1 or 2 balls that, you know, the lesser batters would play. But these days, I mean, you know, everybody considers themselves to be a batter. So maybe there is hope still for Guyana.
Gone are the days where you concentrate on your top batters only batting in the nets.
Especially in this form of cricket as well, too. You want to give everybody an opportunity to get a hit, because of the fact that sometimes it comes down to the lesser known batters, to score runs. We're thinking about the soldier who plays for the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. Mm-hmm. Of course, I mean, you know, he did it off the last ball, had to go for 6 to win and did it. So there are times when, of course, the low order has to put up their hand as well. And it has happened in a lot of these games where teams stutter at the beginning and then they come good in the end to get to in the 80s, 90s, and 100s. And then we had some fast starts, and everything just slows down after that. So
I'm wondering, Monarch, if cricketers, how much of a confidence level they have, no matter what they make, they could win. Virgil Newton, former national captain, played for Haim Smith. He believed if his team made 13, he could bowl out that team for less than 13. And we have a change in bowling here. Samu from the pavilion end. Very quiet indeed. Almost an ear of mourning. Now broken by the claps from the Trinidadians. Very much on top, 22 for 6 into the 12th over. And appealing for any and everything, and why not? They're well on top of things.
And the spin definitely has done it here today for Trinidad.
There's always been an argument, Monarch, for decades that we in the West Indies, we're not good players of spin.
Well, Guyana has had a dose of spin here today. And as we know, some of the best West Indian spinners came out of Guyana, including, of course, Lance Gibbs, who was the world record holder at any time. Well, I don't know. Did Roger Harper spin the ball, or was he a slow bowler? like that's what Victor Eddy says. He's a slow bowler, not a spinner.
And there's the chief selector at 1 point, Bert, I think it is.
Yes.
But they may be listening, and they may be lending some support to the Guyanese. Schultz unable to get it off the track.
Well,
and that's a maiden over. So the score remaining, Monarch, on 22 for 6 after 12 overs.
22 for 6 indeed, and the bowling has been very good today for Trinidad. Anisa Mohammed, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 5 runs, 4 wickets. Ramharak 2 overs for 7 runs, sorry. Ramnath 3 overs, 1 maiden, none for 8. And Sugrim 2 overs, 1 maiden, 1 run, 2 wickets. Samara, of course, just bowled that 1 over, which was a maiden.
Putting things into perspective, Monarch, with 8 overs remaining, that's 48 balls. 47 now because that's a dot ball. From 47 balls, would they be able to get 2 runs per ball, 1.5 runs per ball?
Well, if I was a betting man, I'd do that. But my friend in Barbados, Andrew Mason, says he always keeps his money in his pocket.
So do I. I believe in that wholeheartedly. And no doubt the discussion is how far they believe the Guyanese will get as money size, chipping down, not being able to beat the mid-on fielder. A runner ball would take them to
Who?
How many balls gone? So that's something like 45 balls left if my mathematics would serve me well. So even if they were to get a runner ball and they just got a run, they'll probably make it up to 60 plus, 69.
I'm predicting a score of just around 50.
They'll need a few boundaries, and as some of our colleagues have said in previous games, they're not seeing where or how nor when such will materialize. But funny things happen in the game of cricket, beautiful game of cricket. And there's the adage, runs on the board are already runs on the board, irrespective of who you're playing and how strong your team is. Sugrim continues from the southern end. Schultz doesn't seem to be the strongest of players, Monarch. She's looking very busy, but not really being able to get the ball anywhere.
I think the pitch seems to be very slow, so the ball is not coming on. As a result, she's winding up with a lot of big shots, but she's not getting them off the square.
This one, she does beat the inner circle. Only to receive a single.
So 24 now. 24 for 6.
24 for 6.
The end of the 13th over. 24 for 6. Guyana here in St. Paul, St. Kitts. And I have to drive west to get here, but they tell me that I'm in the north. So I guess I'll have to get my bearings together. I don't know, maybe Waze or Google Maps or.
Well, after all, Monarch, remember we were told in our history classes that Christopher Columbus felt he could have gone west by going east. Or going east by going west.
I don't think you want me to talk about Christopher Columbus today. So let's get back to the cricket.
And here is Schultz winding up. I really like her intention, Schultz. She's trying to get. Yes, she's trying to get every ball away.
She looks like she's trying to get out.
Well, I was coming to that. I'm not certain she's really considering that. I think at this stage she's considering getting every extra run at 2 even, which at this position is very sacred, very rare.
Here she go again, winding up and pulling that one. It drops on the almost on the second pitch. So,
which is a powerful drive by her.
A lot of work for just 1 run, but in the context of the game, 1 run is very important for Guyana right now. Every run, I should say.
And the beautiful thing about these games, especially this CG T20 Blaze, most of the players and it's Monisa who's giving it up this time. Chipping coming off the outer edge. Cooper moving from the first slip to perhaps a third, fourth slip, and gleefully accepts it. And the Trinidadians now sinking into further trouble, losing their 7th wicket with the score on only 25. And we are in over number 13 point. 14th over.
Yes, the 14th over indeed. Another wicket goes down. Munisa takes that dreaded walk back to the pavilion. And, while we're waiting for the new batter, I'd just like to shout out the folks from Pro Video who are doing an excellent job. This is a local team that is actually doing cricket. They've done carnival, they've done music festival, they've done Carifta, and now they're doing cricket. So congratulations to Mr. AJ and his team from right here in St. Kitts for doing such an excellent job in ensuring that, anywhere in the world you are today, you get an opportunity to watch cricket here. I mean, in St. Paul's, 13 miles outside of the capital of
14
Assyria?
actually.
14 miles. So congratulations to the guys. They're working at 3 different locations, and they've been doing that now for the past, 2.5 weeks?
The thing about it, Monarch, this is one of the very good things brought about by COVID, streaming. And it has become the norm, the standard expectation. And a quick
Okay.
single taken there.
All right, and the batters make that single. 26 now for 7. Schultz is on 3.
Whoa, Monarch. 1 bounce, 2 bounces. We were speaking about rear boundaries. And who do you think it is really getting that one over the, the boundary? Our goodly friend Schultz.
And so she is now almost in double figures because we're looking at the batting. Schultz have 7. I get that right?
And Monarch, we're looking at the groundsmen.
Getting prepared because the clouds seem as if that they're coming over. It may have even started to sprinkle, but the groundsmen are ready. Players, however, are taking their place to bring up the 15th over. And so
30 for 7.
30 for 7 after 14.
Yeah, there's a little rain coming up the mountain back of us.
How much the other lady has?
Yeah, so the ground staff is preparing, if in the eventuality that this rain should fall here, but it looks kind of ominous. It's drizzling, yes, but not enough to take the players off the field. Definitely looking ominous. Ominous?
And both definitely, and both umpires, one from Antigua, one from Nevis. There's not even 0.5% of local knowledge here, so they're relying on persons like Theo Clark, the mayor of St. Paul's, where this match is being played in St. Paul's.
Yeah, but I think that the ground staff are quite capable because
Yes.
they moved into position immediately as the atmosphere changed to where it started to drizzle. It's actually still drizzling.
And both umpires, after every delivery, sometimes twice before the delivery, looking over. And here is Schultz trying to play that one again, Monarch. Leewards, they've advanced to 62 for 3 from 11.4 overs. Leewards won the toss and they decided to bat. Jamaica, 56 for 1 after 10 overs. And the rain is coming a little harder now. And it's Sugrim. This one, will it run away for 4? Running close to the boundary, Monarch, but they'll get 2. Are they quick enough to get 3? No, they're not.
I think the covers will come on now.
And
The umpires have.
our colleague Monarch, who is McCall, he's from a few miles east of here, correctly predicting that the covers will come on now.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly what happens. You know, every time it looks like we might go home early, here comes something that prevents us from going off. But it's nature, and we need the rain here in St. Kitts, of course. The ground staff is now covering the main square as the last of the players leave the field. The umpires are still there. Looks like umpire Tuckett waiting on his colleague, and they now are going to take that trip to the pavilion as well.
8:58, Monarch.
Yes, Mr. Mills, I was going to ask you about the what you think about the tournament. You've seen a lot of the games so far. What do you think of the tournament and the standard of the female cricketers here in the Caribbean?
I expected it to be a little higher. We haven't seen the performances consistently and generally with the bat. Yes, some bowlers have taken 4. Anisa Mohammed in this match.
Well, actually, she has forced her way to the top. Let's see, of the bowling for the tournament so far. She's completed, of course, all of her overs. She's taken 8 wickets, joining Affie Fletcher from the Windwards, who hasn't completed her overs as yet, but she has 8 wickets as well. And let's see, economy strike rate, okay. I was looking to see, I don't think we've had a bowler with a fifer, but I could be wrong. There may have been one at Warner Park.
I'm not recalling that. But I think too, coming in and looking at the games, one was hoping to see batters at the crease and say, hey, is that a West Indian player? And we haven't seen it. I get the impression the players have not really burst out of their shells as yet. And obviously I'm not seeing that happen today being the last game.
Yeah, the scores have been, pretty low in the tournament so far. But I think the games have been competitive. We've had a lot of games going all the way down to the wire, though the score may not necessarily have been as high. So we're looking now to see. I can tell you that Kiana Joseph, her highest score was 50. Charmaine Campbell, her highest score was 50.
Not out, I think it was.
Not out. Kaisia Knight, her highest score is 49. Stephanie Taylor, highest score 48. And Rashada Williams, her highest score is 40, not out. So 50, Kiana Joseph and Charmaine Campbell. That's the highest score in the tournament so far.
And it goes back to the amount of cricket being played. Because these ladies, they're playing 5 to 25, 50 overs. Have they played much for the year? Are they going to be playing any more for the year? I don't think so at all. And when you're looking at the English team, Australia and New Zealand, who stay playing cricket basically all year round.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the females play in Australia later this year, somewhere around October, just before our men's team go down to Australia. I stand to be corrected, but I'm sure I heard that recently. Now the sun has come back out. The ground staff is still there. I think they're paying close attention to ensure, of course, that, they can remove the covers without any spillage of any kind that would delay the game here today. But the sun has come back. The clouds have cleared up, and looks like we're getting ready for some more cricket. In how long? I don't know. We'll get that officially from the match referee, who definitely would be able to tell us exactly what time the restart would be based on, what happened with the wicket. Looks pretty good so far, having the ground staff having removed the first set of covers to the north. And as you can see, the head groundsman here, he's standing like the choir director. When he raised his arm when he wanted them to take it up, and he lowered his arm when he wanted them to put that down. Now they're going to be removing the covers here at the southern end. The one at the northern end is been pulled off the field, and the same thing is about to happen to the cover. I think we should be able to resume here pretty shortly. I am actually looking for my colleague to take over from here.
And the sun, basically, Monarch, the dark clouds, seem to have drifted away. And we are seeing quite a decent amount of blue. Umpires are going out to do the inspection in the first instance, make their decision in the second instance. And I can't help but notice, Monarch, all these lovely ladies to my right. We have 3 beautiful young ladies who are scoring. And I'm here reminiscing over the years. Scorers being all males, that has basically changed, because I'm racking my mind and I'm only thinking of one male scorer for the T20 Blaze and the CG T20 Blaze, as well as the CG Insurance Super 50.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago are not wasting any time. They're heading back onto the field. I'm about to take my leave, and Mr. Norval McCall.
Wilman, Daddy McCall.
Okay.
Not son McCall. But
I need to put my glasses on because,
before you slip away, Monarch, the little rain we've had, the little drizzle, the pitch seems to be intact, but the outfield, a little moist, the grass. Do you expect that to play any impact?
No. I think there's a stiff breeze blowing right now. And because it wasn't, a powerful shower, it was more of a sprinkle than anything else. I think that the ground will be fine. And with just, 5 overs left in this innings, I think that the Trinidad and Tobago Divas, they should be fine in the field. But I now take my leave.
As
Mr.
I welcome
McCall.
Mr. McCall, the umpires are in place. Schultz and Grimmond, they are out. Schultz is on 7. Grimmond is on 3. And the score is 32 for 7. As I welcome Mr. McCall back in front of the mic.
Yes, Troy, thank you. We have had a shower since, short, not heavy, but it could have affected the grass. You know, then when the ball is played into the outfield, it will pick up a little moisture, which will give the ladies who are spinning a bit of a challenge.
And perhaps slowing it down for the batters as well, getting to the boundary.
Yes, it will.
And
It could have some effect, but we'll have to wait and see.
Schultz continues her busyness. Sorry, this is Grimmond. Grimmond picking up a 2. She goes to 5. And the score advances to 34. 34 for 7. Not a very healthy position to be in at all, McCall.
No, it's not. And Guyana being at the top of the table as they were, or as they are, you know, this could not be a good position for them. If we continue the debate on the short shower, what effect it could have, we could see a flow of runs, you know, from the Guyanese in the next couple of overs.
And that would have to come after this ball because
Yes.
it's not able to get it away.
Grimmond still stands firm, am I right? And,
Correct.
how many balls have she faced and how many runs, you know, have she accumulated? Only 3? 5 runs. And Grimmond stands
5
tall.
from 6.
5 from 6. She has not been facing much then.
The thing about it, both teams would have had a chance to recalculate, reassess, reevaluate the position they are, especially the Guyanese, and no doubt given quite a bit of pep talk as we see the 15th over coming to an end with the score on 34 for the loss of 7.
Yeah, again, not a good position, but of course we have to look at the game in context because we can say this game is done and dusted for the Trinidadians. That may not be the case. Give them another 10, 15, 20 runs, and you will know, well, you know, it's all in a capsule. Don't think it's a runaway situation for the Trinidadians as yet. They say what's good for Paul, or what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
And here is Schultz continuing her business, getting one down to mid-wicket. And Grimmond very excited and anxious, charging down, sent back by Schultz. Most correctly so. Advancing to 35. Schultz pushes her personal tally to 8. 29 balls left in the innings for the Guyanese. Could they get 20 runs? Could they get 45? Could they reach 50? How far beyond 50 could they get? These are the questions.
And then having gotten to whatever you're projecting, what could be the actions of the Trinidadian team? How will they respond? And of course, given the fact that there was a little shower, that's a wicket that has just fallen. She's bowled. She was just bowled.
She was bored, was she? I thought it looked funny. I didn't see anything, and I got the impression they were walking off. I did.
She tried to cut a ball that was close to her.
Outside, and her coming
And,
the inner edge.
Yes, and she played it
Came
on.
back to her. I got the impression that he was hitting the pad. That's Grimmond, but actually going on and hitting the stumps. So that would be considered bold.
4 more overs remaining in this over. The question is, will they bat out the 20 overs? That's the question. That's
Madam Mutu.
Madam Mutu.
She is now joining Schultz.
I still would like to attribute much of the low score that we have had, the low score we have had in this game, to the early morning start and the coolness of the atmosphere as it was. Now the sun is out bright and shiny. There could be a difference in the movement of the ball through the air, the thinner air. It gives when the air is much denser. Of course, the ball would do a thing or two. But now with the air getting thin, and here's a ball that was pulled away for 1 to just foul of square. And what I was saying, Biff, is that the early morning atmosphere could have caused some slowness. I mean, when you look at the indiscretions by many of the batters, maybe an hour or two later might not have resulted in, in what we saw. Now the sun is out nice and bright.
All the dark clouds have disappeared from our vantage point. And I'm trying to think, McCall, I haven't seen Schultz play one ball into the offside as yet.
Because the way she plays, she's pulling everything. And maybe that's a strong point. And even though the ball is on her stumps, she bends herself into position to pull that ball. And of course, that is her style. And maybe is where the area is, where she can hit it with more power, is on the onside.
A very beautiful candidate for LBW, but perhaps she has very good eye, feet, and hand coordination. And this one is looping, and the bowler trying to shy at the stumps, but it was more shying at Schultz, who had to do some aerial aerobatics to get out of that way.
I'm sure Schultz would be happy that she was aiming at her than the stumps.
Schultz is now 9. The score goes on to 37. At the end of 15, 37 for 8. Schultz is on 9. And Madamutu is on 1. And we're having a Ramharak, one of the key bowlers.
She's coming from the northern end, of course.
We have a backward point to cover, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, forward square. A fielder guarding the mid-wicket boundary, and a short fine leg. And Schultz with her favorite shot, pulling, and she is actually bowled, McCall.
Yes.
I was saying she was an LBW candidate, but then again, pulling, missing. It's now 37. 37 for 9.
And that's why I was asking the question. Do you think they would bat out these 20 overs? And that question was not answered. Of course, when you described her as trying to get on with things, Monarch said she was trying to get out. And that ball was on the stump. She was pulling away. She missed it. It missed her pads, or maybe it hit her pads, and went on to the stump. So Schultz is out bowled. And 9 wickets down. There are yet 3.2 overs left in this game, and the question is, will they bat 20?
Before this game, Monarch, persons may have been considering this to be one of the semi-finals, because Guyana coming into this match leading the points table on run rate. 12 points with Barbados, but a higher net run rate than Barbados. Even at that stage, persons may have also felt that the Barbadians were the favorites to win and thus perform the double, because they are playing Leeward Islands, and the Leeward Islands, they are yet to chalk up a point in any of the 50 over and now the T20 Blaze.
Well, that's going with the belief that the Leewards would lose very badly against Barbados. That too may not be the case, and of course, when you look at what Guyana has done here, you would realize that the thing still may be open. Suppose Leewards spring a victory on you.
And this net run rate for the Trinidadians, skittling them out, well, the inevitable end is glooming quite closely. And were they to go in and knock it off without losing any wickets in a very short time, that'll very much boost the run rate, the Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, but you see, I think Guyana would want to make a game of this. They still wouldn't want to relinquish that position that easily. It could be a tough time.
Do they have a choice?
Well, it could be a tough time, but you just have to try.
Of course.
2 or 3 quick wickets, you just may put Trinidad under pressure.
They're not going to roll over and play dead. I expect them to come out fighting irrespective of the score they make.
And the Guyanese are very good at this dot ball game. They sort of play you into a corner by bowling a whole heap of dot balls quickly. And this could be their plan when they get going. And of course, you know the fact that the Trinidadians would want to get things going quickly. But I think the Guyanese will make a fight of this.
Definitely. And the Guyanese, being adjudged by most, if not all, as the most improved team for the T20 Blaze, they have been getting stronger and stronger, but we haven't seen the strength or the levels of the improvement in this batting segment. Perhaps they'll show us in the bowling, as they are 37 for the loss of 9 after 17 overs.
And running the risk of being bowled out before 20. And of course, that would not do well for them. The way that these two batters would want to go about it at this point in time is to make sure they bat the 20, giving themselves a chance to work their scope to beyond 40, maybe close to 50. And of course, they have about 3 hours so to do. And of course, to get bowled out with 2-3 overs to spare, is not a good psychological balance for the Guyanese team. So they would want to hold on and play it around for singles until you get to 40, 45, maybe close to 50.
And speaking of surprises, McCall, if Leewards were able to spring a surprise on Barbados, after 14 overs, the Leeward Islands are 82 for 3. So could this be the start of the surprise, McCall?
Well, who knows? Again, the Leewards are famous for, being rolled over, but they are batting fairly okay up to this position. And the last 3 matches, they have batted fairly well. But there's a tendency for them to have this attitude. Oops. We have batted well, and therefore they don't field well. They don't bowl well.
And the bowling may not be one of the strongest in the competition either.
That is my point. The attitude, apparently, they would bat and they get 120, and all of a sudden the bowling goes to the dogs. They need to string both abilities together, bowling and batting.
But who knows? This is the wheat weekend, the holiday weekend here in St. Kitts and Nevis, as that is Madam Mutu pulling that one through mid-wicket for a single. She goes on to 2. That's Millington, Plifiana, Millington. And the Guyanese score crawls to 38 for 9.
All they need are singles and work this ball around until the overs are complete. Cannot get bowled out. Should not get bowled out.
What I like about this competition, McCall,
yes, I understand.
Quite a lot of young ladies are on display here, and that augurs well for West Indies female cricket. And Steve Liebert from St. Kitts, he is actually here looking at the rising star players, as it were, which is a very good thing again.
Okay, well, all the best to Steve. And of course, you keep referring to me as Monarch. I don't sing as well as this guy. I don't.
Do you sing at all?
I do sing very well in church, sir. and I'm not as well spoken as is Monarch. So, there are several factors that separate myself and the great Monarch.
A little taller.
Oh, she right.
A little grey.
Yeah.
Monarch a little more buff. As we've now seen the end of the 18th over. 37 for 9. 38 for 9. And the Guyanese total labors on.
Yes, and they need to bat out. 2 more overs to go.
12 balls. The question is, can they get 12 and get to 50? Can they go to 60? Can they even reach 71?
50 could be a psychological boost for them. They have not had much going for them today. To reach 50 would be a very good thing, and it just may trigger something in their minds that, hey, something could be done here.
A very good task for the Trinidadians to win, asking the Guyanese to bat first, and it's going to be Ram Harak continuing from the far end.
Is Latchman playing this game?
No, she's not.
playing this game. That, in my view, is to the disadvantage of the Guyanese team. On this wicket, she just might have, done something very good for them, given what Nisa Mohammed has done. And I know there were some indiscretions by the Guyanese batters, but of course, Latchman could have done something really well on this wicket that seems to be doing much.
And there is a appeal by Ramharat. Umpire Joseph not interested. Seeing the hands coming up, some persons were thinking he had a long thought about that, but he was actually to signal 3 balls have been bowled in the over. And Ramharat will work again for the red and black and white. And getting some runs here, or Aaron, I should say, it's Millington. Forgive me. Madam Mutu. And her score crawls to 3, as does the score for the Guyanese to 39.
Like I said, 50 could be a nice booster for them, and one would hope that they will take their time and take any opportunity that's presented and get themselves up to at least 50. Can't get bowled out.
At this stage, it may be just a thought, McCall, as opposed to be realistic, because the Trinidadians, they have the Guyanese in a tight vice grip. Tight.
No one out in the... okay, that's the end of the over?
End of the penultimate over. Okay. 19 overs bowled, 39 for 9. You were wondering if they're going to last out the 20 overs, McCall, and they are only 6 balls away from doing that.
Yes.
Question is, how many runs can they get from the 6th ball?
Well, we'll have to look at the attitude.
11 to get to 50.
We have to look at what they do.
Some of our colleagues here are quite adamant that they'll probably get to 40.
From 39.
From 39.
That's a bet that Monarch will win easily.
The score really moving at a tortoise pace. 35 for 7 after 14. 35 for 7 after 15. 35 for 7 after 16. Now I got to make a mistake. Too many 35s for 7. That's four maiden overs. I have to confirm with the scorers. 37 for 8 after 15. 37 for 8 after 16. 37 for 9 after 17. 38 for 9 after 19.
Yes, one would like to see them launch into the attack at this point in time.
Lee was 102 for 6 after 20, after being 82 for 3. And here is
the end of the innings. In fact, she was bowled, and that's the end of the innings for the Guyanese. Not the end of the innings.
That's Madamutu, is it? Trying to go for a big hit, bowled all over the place.
The end of the Guyanese effort. 49, I think it is. Is it 40?
And at least
is it 40?
One of our colleagues called it right.
Yeah,
we were thinking 50. He said maybe 40.
Maybe 40.
They haven't been able to reach 40.
39 all out is Guyana, and of course, after being at the top of the table, I don't think they will take this thing lying down. In their quest to win this match, they would have to go hard from the word go. And of course, I have to look at it realistically. 39. Do you expect to win in a 20-over match when you've made 39? It is
I'll
not
say
something
2 things. I keep calling you Mona.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm a Mona.
McCall. Well, both of you believe with
yes.
M. 1, runs on the board are already runs on the board. And 2, cricket, the game of glorious uncertainties.
Well, anything is possible.
Anything and everything is possible here.
In cricket, that's right.
And we've known no scores to give teams trouble. Perhaps complacency sets in, I don't know, overconfidence.
Well, there's a sense of complacency when you've bowled out a team for a low score, and there's a feeling in the hearts of the batters that we can make this thing easy. And so application goes out of the door, and sometimes complacency sets in. And once you've lost 2 or 3 wickets, you realize there are some problems on the horizon. And of course, even though it's 39, it's important to be careful and knock those off as quickly as possible, and giving the victory to Trinidad and Tobago. However, if there's no complacency, it must be approached with some sense of care and caution, and win this game. They must using as few balls as possible.
Trinidad and Tobago won the toss. They asked Guyana to bat first. Guyana opening with Shineta Grimmond and Katanmena Mentori. Grimmond going the first, caught Mohammed without scoring. Gajnabi, she joined her. She was second to go, also without scoring. Mentor, she went third, all without scoring. All 3 wickets going to Mohammed. Grimmond caught, Gajnabi caught, and Mentori bowled. Charmaine Campbell, the captain, batting in the number 4 position. She was caught off Mohammed for 13, the highest score by a long stretch for the Guyanese. Mandy Mangu, one of my favorite players in the tournament, she was LBW Sugrim for 5. Sherry and Fraser, bowled by Sugrim for 1. Casey Schultz, I liked her energy today, and that produced the second top score of 9 runs. Ashmini Munasa, she was caught Samaru for 1. Liliana Grimmond, she was bowled Ramnath for 5. Tilia Madamutu, she was bowled Samaru for 3. Plefiana Millington coming not out without troubling the scorers really. Guyana put into bat. They were 39 all out. And the good thing, there was just 1 wide, 1 leg by, 2 extras. In terms of the bowling, Anisa Mohammed, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 5 runs, 4 wickets. Does it get any better than that? 4 overs, 1 maiden, 5 runs. So she actually bowled 24 balls. Yes. And 4 wickets and 5 runs. And we'll have to get back to you with the bowling analysis for the other 4 bowlers: Ramharak, Ramnath, Sugrim, and Samaru.
Yes, Troy. Yes, Troy, we will resume at about 9:45.
So we now go back to the studios, but before we go, we can tell you that the scores in the other games: Leeward Islands 116 for 4 from 19 overs. Jamaica 97 for 3 from 18 overs. The winner of this game will go to 12 points. Jamaica, Windward Islands. Windward Islands won the toss and elected to bowl. For Barbados to win this game, they will go to 16 and will perform the double the way it's looking, based on the fact that Guyana, who are on 12, with a challenging task of successfully defending 39 runs in 20 overs, 39 runs from 120 balls. And of course, Jamaica, Windwards, both winning 2 matches. Were they to anyone to win, they'll go to 12, and they'll be hoping, praying, and doing all kind of things that Barbados would not only lose, but lose miserably, to lessen their run rate and give them a chance. But all to play for here in St. Kitts in the CG Insurance T20 Blaze organized by the West Indies Cricket Board. And indeed, we have to thank CG Insurance for coming on board and sponsoring the 50 over Super 50 for the females, as well as the T20 Blaze.
Right, welcome back to St. Paul's. It's the CWI Women's T20 Blaze here in St. Kitts. And the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force Divas, they are out trying to get to 40 for a victory here today. That could be a significant one for them considering what happened in the game with Barbados and the Leewards, and of course Jamaica and the Windwards as well. So Millington, she's coming in from the northern end for Guyana. Boyce is the batter for the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force Divas. 40 is the target, and we're ready to go for the second half of this game here in St. Paul's.
We see on the, I think there should be someone out on the, there's a deep mid-wicket.
Or cow corner.
Okay, cow corner, they're out. And a deep long on. Everybody else within the circle. And the Guyanese are famous for giving you a quick 10 overs with many dot balls. And if they can spring that today, that is what is needed right now. They could
Well, I don't
begin
think
with a chance.
I don't think dot balls are going to help them today.
Well, maybe not.
They
but
need
at least
wickets.
for a start.
Chasing down 40.
To get wickets,
Yeah.
they need to be pressure. And dot balls create pressure.
Yeah, but when you're going at 40, you know, dot balls definitely shouldn't even be a consideration.
Okay, that's also true.
What's the run rate that they need? 0.0?
0.0.
2.05 to be correct.
Yeah, and Boyce could be a dasher when she's ready. Once she gets anything to hit, she would not pull back with that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how.
Would she get anything to hit at this point in time? That's a question.
In comes Millington once more outside the off stump, and she plays that gently out to the cover fielder. Well, the extra cover, that is. No runs so far.
Someone said a hat trick could make a big difference in the game. The hat trick. The hat trick.
Boyce has perished. A full toss, and she just played it gently up to mid-on, and she's gone.
Well,
Not for one. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force Divas. So here we go with a very similar start to that of the Guyanese when they batted. So number 47, Joseph. She's heading out to the crease. I'm sure Boyce must be very disappointed with that shot. Not sure whether the bowler was able to pull that one back, but she just gently patted it to mid-on.
well, you know, they say the longest journey begins with the first step, begins with one step. And to undo many of these batters, you need to bowl dot balls. One step at a time, one ball at a time. Now what happened is that she got about 3 or 4 dot balls, and she got one just about to center and leg, and she tried to work it, but the ball popped a little, so it ballooned to the fielder, and she was out. Dot balls can still work magic.
Well, it's a dot ball that worked the magic, but the one that worked the magic is the one that resulted in the
But the
wicket.
preceding balls were dots. Those that were before.
All right, McCall. There we go. And here we go. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force is finally off the mark. And this, wow. The running is just atrocious. That is absolutely 2 or even 3. I mean, you know, fielders were chasing down the ball, and the batter at the non-striker's end, or at the striker's end, was actually still ball watching.
That should have been 3 runs as far as I'm concerned. Millington. Grimmond.
All right, so Grimmond, she's bowling from the southern end.
And the batter looks like Joseph or
And the umpire goes up with a finger. There's another one. Another one is gone for the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Shot on what, middle and leg stump?
Yes.
Keeping a little bit low. And the batter was swinging across the line for all she's worth. And back to the pavilion comes Saw. She's gone, so the two opening batters are gone. And now the experienced Cooper, number 35. She's going to join Joseph. Center stage here. And it's look like a competition to see who can take the most wickets in the less time.
Well, you see, they told us when we played cricket, if something is below your knee roll, do not pull. Rather, get a bat on it.
Well, unless you're Viv Richards.
Unless you're Viv Richards. If you miss that ball, you're a candidate for LBW, and if the ball get past your pads, you could be bowled. And she transgressed, and as a result, she perished.
I know today's Saturday, and the Adventists normally pray on Saturday. So, all right.
Well,
just don't start to tarry, okay?
No, I spoke earlier of the Guyanese and their ability to bowl quick 10 overs with dot balls, and that seemed to be maybe it doesn't seem to be working the trick, but I think a trick is being worked.
Well, the trick is getting wickets. They've gotten 2 wickets so far.
And for you to get wickets, there need to be some pressure. To get pressure, they need to be dot balls.
Oh, okay.
Kane, right forward defensive. That's Brittany Cooper, with all her experience.
And Guyana is just chirping away on the field right now. Everybody's clapping and screaming here. That one's going down the leg side. A chorus of appeal going up.
Yes.
Umpire just walks away as it's the end of the second over.
Well, you know,
2 for 2. Off of 2. So that's
2 for 2.
That's not a very cute word here in St. Kitts.
Well, you know, what I like to hear is the symphony of voices beckoning to the umpire, especially when they touched Brittany Cooper a while ago. They would like to get Brittany Cooper out. If they get Brittany Cooper, they're in with some chance.
Well, Millington, we'll see about that. She comes in and she's bowling to Joseph, who hasn't scored as yet. Neither batsman have scored as yet, or neither batter has scored as yet.
Still 2 for 2 from 2.2. That's right.
Sounds like you need to be playing the lotto today, McCall. Are they open today?
I don't know. Guyana really putting up a fight, and this is quite admirable. 39 runs, and they have enough in them to say at least there is a little chance here. It's a big ask.
I still think that the Red Force will get the 40 runs. Yes, and the running still has been very atrocious because, I mean, from the very beginning, you knew that was 2 runs. So I'm not sure why Cooper was actually looking back and delaying the run. And I think these are the things that actually cause batters to get run out easily and make them lose confidence. I mean, if you're running positive, you should have positive intent. I definitely think that, you know, it argues better for your game and your team. So Joseph is off the mark with 2. Millington comes in to bowl to her once more.
End of third. End of the third over.
End of the over, and everything is going so rapid here today. I might as well put my plug in for the Send Kids and the Summer of Fun. Do you know anything about that?
No. Tell me about it. Plug it. Let me hear.
Well, it's actually started already. It started with the
With the
it's the
cricket?
Super 50
Yes,
cricket,
yes.
T20 cricket. We have the
Masters.
Leeward Islands Masters tournament taking place right now. There are matches live right now in Molyneux.
Music festival.
Of
coming
course,
up.
today. Well, we'll pause here as let's see who is this coming in to bowl to Cooper. Grimman.
Bremen.
She's coming. This is the Shanetta. Because there's two Grimmans, if I'm not mistaken. So Shanetta is the one who is bowling. And Brittany Cooper comes forward. She looks very, very comfortable since she's come to the crease. The key thing is if she can stay there, then this is an easy victory for Trinidad and Tobago.
It should be an easy victory.
Outside the off stump, she leaves that one alone. Wicketkeeper collects and sends back up to Grimman.
Speaking of the summer of fun, you called it just a while ago,
Yes.
Mona? Summer of fun. I know you would mention the
Green Valley?
The Green Valley.
Of course. I mean, there's a big concert tonight in Green Valley. Jamil,
yeah, that's right.
who is a Jamaican dancehall artist,
Oh, quite forward
he's
defensive, that one.
he's gonna be performing tonight over in Keon. Tomorrow night is that show actually, in Keon for Green Valley. Then of course, early Monday morning it's Breaking Dawn. It's a big breakfast fete at Carambola. But we've got cricket here in St. Paul's. And Grimman, she will now be bowling to Joseph. So both batters are off the mark right now. Joseph on 2 and Cooper on 1.
I think the second ball of this. So that's the end of the fourth over, sir, or the fifth over?
The
Fourth
end
over.
of the fourth over. 5 for 2, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, and just needing a period of consolidation right now. And I think having Cooper at the wicket is definitely the way to get that done. Millington looks like she's going to come in for her third over. Cooper has now traded places, of course, because of the single she got to take her off the mark in the last over. She's now at the southern end, and she'll be facing Millington coming in from the Caribbean Ocean.
Of course, the flip side of that, the Guyanese would hope to put another break here, and to dislodge Brittany Cooper would be the ace. Royal flush, they say. Here's a single. Down to, long on by Brittany Cooper, pushing straight, and a single had. Of course, she is the key. And Guyana, with 39, the expectation is that, look, we lose, but let me try something up front and see what happens. And I think they're working well.
And that one.
Once you've made 39, what is the expectation? A 20 over game. Oh, well done. All right.
And that's a beautiful shot. Cow Corner picks it up, 1 run. Joseph moves on, and as I said, this is the consolidation period. It's early days yet, but this is the consolidation that they need. There's no need to stress, no need to be in a hurry. They just need to show intent.
Singles and twos. That's all that's needed.
Another easy single again. That one scooping past mid-on feeler. So the score is now 8 for 2. Oh, that one down the leg side. Umpire signals are wide. So the score moves on to 9. 31 runs needed.
From how many overs? 15 overs.
Too
91 balls.
too many overs.
Again, the end of this over, the over. Singles and twos will simply break up that tension that has been created by a few wickets and a few dot balls. The single will give the bowler another batter to bowl at, and of course it could force the fielding side to make changes in the field. Having made changes in the field, it gives way to more runs being scored. And so therefore, a dot ball is a very important. A single, in terms of the batting, is also very important. Here's Brittany Cooper, right forward defensive, and pushing it back to the bowler, per se. Of course, not many runs to play with, so the Guyanese would have to be very, very tight. They have two persons out on the onside, mid-wicket, deep long on, 3 on the onside. 4.
Backward square.
Okay. Okay, here is one pushed back. I could only see 2 on this side.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, I'm talking about outside the circle. Okay.
And these Guyanese, McCall, they are as tight as a vice grip.
Well, they're trying to keep things tight.
And even tighter.
Yes, not many ones to play with. And dot balls create pressure. And pressure
bust pipe.
you understand the point. Yeah, Brittany Cooper, though, she is not overawed by this situation. She apparently has been here many times, and with her immense experience with the West Indies and other franchises, she would have the experience to deal with this sort of pressure. This one was played out. Into the offside, a single had. Again, this is what will bring Trinidad closer and closer and relieve whatever pressures that might have been built up from the fall of those 2 wickets.
1-1 full basket, old people say. And if you put a cent in a piggy bank every day, at the end of it you'll have 365 cents. Which is what?
At the end of the year.
At the end of the year, $303.65. So you would have been 365 cents richer at the end of the year, but it's Millington to continue.
That one was, he had some movement on it. It pitched about off. She covered, and it moved away from her into the gloves of the keeper.
And the vice gets tighter.
Now she goes into a sweep situation. She misses, cannons into the pads. Not an appeal, for it was outside leg stump. Apparently, if that was left alone, it just might have been a wide.
Cooper having a master class in patience at this stage. 4 from 20 deliveries. A very patient player. She's going to get away the bad balls, which are far and few in between at the moment.
Plays it down to long on for a single. And once you see something like that, down to long off for a single, down to long on for a single, it gives a sense of relaxation and a relieving of the pressure that could be brought to bear, not having those sort of luxuries. So, again, another dot. The difference is now, what, 30 or 20 plus?
29, is it?
29.
29 from eternity. And is she bowled there, McCall?
I don't know.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
That one
She
kept
missed it.
really low.
It kept
She
low.
came back as well, missed it.
It kept low. She tried to force it from off her stumps. She missed it, and luckily the ball missed the stumps. And she would be ill-advised to try something like that again. Preferably, maybe out forward defensive would be a much better prospect than back to cut a ball that's really seemingly on the stumps. But that one was slightly off the stumps.
11 for 2 at the end of 7. And it's Millington to continue. Sorry.
4-1-7.
There.
Bowler.
And this is going to be 2-3. Could get to the boundary. No, it doesn't.
Returning for the third.
The 1-3.
3 runs to Cooper. Bowler was well struck, and the call was early, and they seized the opportunity and took 3. That's a rarity.
With that 3, Cooper limbers on to 8 from 22 balls. But she's not in a rush to get anywhere. They have all of forever to get just a handful of runs.
Chipping down to that one, meeting it and playing it out quietly out. Normally, most people associate a chip with a bang over extra cover or mid-off, but she came right forward defensive in that case, and now she pushes one out again in the offside, this time for a single, just wide of one fielder.
2 twos, 1-3, 1 wide, and something like 6 singles in the innings so far, McCall.
Well, the bowlers are trying to be as tight as possible. Brittany Cooper right forward defensive again. And of course, I wonder who's losing this battle. There are only 20 runs left with a whole number of balls yet to be bowled. And the Guyanese trick of bowling this quick 10 overs with many dot balls is not working today.
There was a consideration to bring Fraser from the far end, but we're seeing the West Indies on the 19 female captain, Monisa, to come and try and work some magic for her team. Magic in terms of wickets. 15 for 2 at the end of 8. Persons may have felt that this game may have been over by now, but far from it. One of our fellow commentators, he always say a wicket at hat-trick at this stage could put a whole different spin on the game. Whether it's top spin, bottom spin, side spin, some kind of spin. And this money, Sanders allowed appeal for LBW. Umpire Joseph looking, and he looked again, and he looked after. But then he was confident that that one would not have gone on to hit the stumps.
Yes, it's a good shot, actually. It was. I thought from this position she was playing down. I don't know if she had some inside movement. Inner movement, that is.
And this one really run away to the boundary for 4. It's slowing up. And a very beautiful piece of fielding by Mango. Diving, pulling it back. And 3 runs being had. Saving one, a very precious 1-run, McCall.
Yes, in the context of this game,
Extremely
1
precious.
run is a lot of runs.
Indeed. Indeed. Defending 39 runs.
Yes.
That one could have created, well, saving that one prevented some hemorrhage.
And of course, the Guyanese are really trying. I give them credit. They have not run themselves ragged. They are fielding very well. They're bowling rather well, and they have not said to themselves, "We have not made many." Oh,
And
let's
is there
put
going to
the
be a run
on this
out and
one.
it's sent at the wrong end, Monarch?
Yeah. What I will do, I will take my leave in just a few
That went
minutes.
to the wrong end.
Yes, there could have been a run out affected, but the chore went to the wrong end, and so the batter was able to get back into her grounds. In the next over or two, I will let Mona come alongside you. And
Hooper plays it straight into the
wonderful.
hand. A beautiful
Wonderful.
catch by
Yes.
Fraser. Moving, getting down on it to her right, and grabbing that
Yes.
one from the air.
That was so competent. I mean, and the ball had pace on it. It was well struck. It was well struck. She angled her body in a way, and she took it, and then Brittany Cooper is out.
And this
maybe
is
too
the
little, too
prize wicket they really needed. Any wicket will do, but this wicket of Brittany Hooper, perhaps it's worth 2 or 3 or even 4 wickets for the Guyanese.
Yes, she is not pleased with being out, I must say. But what could you do with such a lovely catch, a splendid catch, in my view? And Brittany Cooper only have to depart, and giving Guyana another opportunity, another look. And if they can just simply bog down and tease this pair and see what happens, don't allow them to build a partnership, Guyana could be in with a small chance.
Perhaps getting some inspiration from my favorite cricketer in this tournament, Mangu,
Yes.
who threw herself to save 1.
Yes.
Limiting the batters to 3 a few balls before, inspiring her teammates, and it was actually off of Monisa.
That's right.
And Monisa deciding, well, I have to give the team something. You gave the team something, Mango. I have to do something. And Brittany Cooper, it was a lovely drive, really, but it just went straight to Sherry and Fraser, who didn't make any mistake. Had she dropped that, she might have had to walk back to Trinidad and Tobago.
But that was a splendid catch, trust me. Very splendid catch.
To Guyana, that is. 18 for 3, 8.4 overs bowled. And the Guyanese at this stage, they are not lying down and playing dead. They are not rolling over and playing possum.
I'm not saying they're in with a chance, but at least they're just taking it ball by ball.
I say they're in with a chance. Another wicket or 2, and it could be problems. They've gotten rid of the big bat for Trinidad and Tobago in my view. At the two big bats, Rennie's boys as well. So they may very well be fancying their chances at this stage.
Yeah, quite a...
And there is going to be a change in bowler. Schultz, the ever busybody Schultz, busy with the bat. Could she get busy, according to the Burning Flames, with the ball?
Well, let's see. She's a very energetic young lady. And, of course, she's here to make sure she creates some pressure and giving herself an opportunity to prize another Trinidadian wicket before they get closer to that 39, that dreaded 39 number, what the Trinidadians are really desiring at this point in time.
Definitely, they need to take some wickets, and they are doing that so far.
There is some movement away from the right-hand batter. That ball was pitched just outside off, and it was left. But there was some movement away from the bat.
And that one keeping low, very low. And I think the Guyanese, they will be inspired by the balls keeping low. Conversely for the Trinidad Pagans. Left arm round. And that is a beautiful shot, dissecting the backward point and the cover fielder. And they will get 2 easily.
Yeah, well, that would not help the Guyanese effort. You need dots. You need to maintain dots. Then you will get wickets.
And this score going along at 30 pace.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Guyana, of course, they would like to know they get a couple of wickets, even though it may come down to their losing. At least if they lose, if they have 40 for 6 or 7, it would give them some sense of consolation. Because given what happened to them in the early exchanges, they would like to know that, of course, they do some fighting back. And such they're doing. And a few more wickets for them would be, they would feel a sense of consolation. There is a break here, a water break, is it?
They are fighting back and they are fighting valiantly. It's now a drinks break after 10 overs here at the St. Paul's Sporting Complex. As Mr. Wilman McCall makes way for Mr. Clement Monarch Ogaro.
Thank you. Sure, they don't feel no way. I'm right here.
Leeward Islands Monarch needing 122 to win against the Leeward Islands. Leeward Islands 121 for 5. Barbados, they are 53 without loss after 5.1.
Well, just as I predicted, of course, that Barbados were going to make those runs in a canter without any issues whatsoever. This is a good experience for the Leeward Islands team. So, I think they should feel a lot better next year, considering that they've gone through this experience. And, they do have the experience of Jazara Claxton, who went on to represent, of course, the West Indies under 19. And it looks like we're ready for more action here again at St. Paul's. And, of course, we're just a couple, meters away from the statue of the first national hero of St. Kitts and Nevis, Mr. Robert Bradshaw.
His Right Excellency.
Right Excellency Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw. And of course, we've had, 2 leaders of our country from this very village here in St. Paul's. I'm sure the villagers must be very proud of that. Our first national hero and second prime minister.
Jamaica 102 for 3 at the end of their 20 overs.
And the action continues here.
Windward Islands 27 for 1. Monisa, she is bowling from the Caribbean Sea end, asking a question of umpire Joseph. He's not interested. He walks away in anticipation of maybe a single.
Who's the batter here?
Yes, Monisa.
Joseph Pearson? Samaru. So Joseph's at the other end.
Yeah. Monisa.
All right, so Monisa is bowling from the northern end. And she's bowling to Samaru. And she just pushes this one out on the offside. So after the wicket of Brittany Cooper, the Guyanese, of course, are chirping again. Trinidad, though, halfway to their victory total. 20 for 3. We're in the 11th over.
And the Guyanese, they're keeping things tight. They're not really lying down and playing dead. They're taking the battle to Trinidad and Tobago. Perhaps somewhat anticlimactic, Monarch. Well, at least I didn't call you Makal on this occasion. This game perceived to have been a semi-final quality game. Guyana leading the table points coming into this game with 12 points, with the best net run rate of all 6 teams.
So Schultz is bowling from the southern end. She's bowling to Janaba Joseph. And the Trinidad, of course, batters are taking their time to reconstruct. They just need 20 runs for that victory that, definitely gives them a chance to head the table. I think it's going to be a lot of, the mathematicians are going to be at work this afternoon trying to figure out this. That one's outside the off stump, not timed, just played up to cover. No run once more. Schultz, she's bowling to Joseph. And Joseph comes forward once more. No run. I think this is the final ball coming up. And we could have 2 maidens in a row. And that's what it is. All right, so 20. The score is 20 for 3. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force Divas, they're 20 for 3, chasing down 40 for the victory here today. Guyana women made 39, all out in 19.3 overs. Trinidad and Tobago in the 13th over, the 12th over.
13 bowled.
13 bowl, okay.
Sorry, 12 bowled way into the 13th.
All right, so 20 for 3 after 12.
At this stage, Guyana were 22 for 6 after 12. So some positivity for Guyana. They were leading in runs at this stage. And this one goes uppish. Settling down, it is a fielder, and she takes it, much to the jubilation of her entire crowd. Looking up, eyes on the ball, as the coaches would tell you, Monarch. Moving, chipping left, chipping to the right, as if dancing to some soca beat. And it is...
Another one goes down for Trinidad and Tobago.
Looking very dejectedly as she walks back to the pavilion, not towards it.
All right, so the new batter going out is Leon Kirby. All right, and so Trinidad and Tobago Divas after two maiden overs, and wicket has fallen.
Samaru out-caught Gajnami, bowled Munisa A beautiful duck, Monarch from 9 balls. Mango. Ah, yes, Mango, my favorite cricketer for this tournament. Has she been brought in, Monarch, to try a thing or to really win this match for Guyana? Leg spin. Bringing Kirby forward. Extremely cautiously. No, this go. And this one uppishly over mid-wicket. Will it run away for 4? No, it won't. That should have been 2 runs, perhaps 3. But the batter's settling on 1, so Kirby gets off the mark. And the score crawls on to 21 for the loss of 4. And Mango tries again for Guyana. Driving through the covers, a beautiful shot indeed, but only finding the fielder Madamutu. And the Guyanese, their backs should be on their tails should be on their backs. 21 for 4. Ball of the over, Mango. Trying to flick that down the leg.
So that's the end of the 13th over. Denaba Joseph on 9. Leanne Kirby, she's on 1. And the score 21 for 4. Here at St. Paul's, Trinidad and Tobago trying to chase down 40 to win this game and end the tournament on a high. Of course, Guyana has other thoughts, and so too is Schultz, who will be coming in from the southern end, bowling to Leanne Kirby, who is now taking her guard.
After 13 overs, Monarch, the Guyanese were 24 for 6, compared to Trinidad and Tobago 21 for 4.
Well, I still think
the game is wide open.
I still think Trinidad is going to win this game. Their captain hasn't batted as yet, and she's known to be a very responsible batter.
Oh, and that one just eluding the fully outstretched hands of Mango at first slip. But only picking up a single.
Yes, the running has been a lot to be desired. Has left a lot to be desired, I should say, because that is definitely a clear 2 runs. The ball went 2/3 of the way to the.
And there's gonna be an appeal for caught.
Well, there is an appeal. Umpire is unmoved.
Perhaps thinking the ball bumped just in front. Having a conversation with umpire.
It's interesting though. If it was that the ball bumped in front of the bowler, then he may have had a word with the square leg umpire.
But perhaps not. Perhaps it was clear. Maybe he saw it clearly. Once you see something clear, there's no need to consult your partner.
I understand that, but I mean, you know, the bowler had their back to the umpire. Not sure how.
And is she gonna be stumped? And yes, she is. Schultz pulling that Joseph down the track, and by the time she got back, the Bears were already whipped off by Campbell in a flash. And it's trouble here for Trinidad and Tobago Monarch. They are now 21 for the loss of 5.
22 for 5. 22 for 5. Trinidad and Tobago. It's a workman-like scoring here today. Not really putting the pressure on the fielders. There was definitely an opportunity to get 2 runs on the previous delivery, in the previous over, and they failed to do that. So 22 for 5, Ramharak is the new batter. And surprised that Anisa Mohammed hasn't come in as yet. But when she was leaving the field after the inning, she was limping just a little. So that probably is the reason why she hasn't come in as yet. So we'll see what happens. Schultz will continue to bowl. So far, she's at 2.4 overs, 1 wicket for 3 runs. She has a maiden in it as well.
Quite a busybody when she was batting, and perhaps the celly of the competition after she would have gotten that wicket.
And here's Ramharak essaying a drive outside the off stump. Ball keeps a little bit low, goes through to the keeper, and the chirping is escalated.
And the Guyanese monarch, they are all excited. Their tails are now on their back. At the end of the 14th over, it is 22 for the loss of 5, the Trinidadians. And at this stage,
Trinidad and Tobago, not Trinidadians.
Guyana now were 30 for 7. So they're doing well in terms of containing the runs, but picking up another 2-3 wickets, the game would be on par based on the Guyanese when they were batting. So the pendulum slowly swinging in favor of the Guyanese. And Mango again continues. Kirby gets that one, and there's a load, and she ball all over the place. And Mango is that busybody darting up and down. And Kirby goes, balled by Mango. And Trinidad and Tobago slipping into further trouble, Monarch.
22 for 6. And Leanne Kirby takes that long walk back to the
14-point.
pavilion. 22 for 6. Trouble here for Trinidad and Tobago. But yet the captain has still not appeared. So this is Alexander who is going out to bat. And we have a very interesting, evenly matched game here today. It just seems as if that this is almost too early to play cricket here in St. Paul's, because not only do you have to get up early, but you have to drive to get here as well from the hotel. So, 22 for 6. Trinidad is in dire need of a few runs.
And I'm sticking with my mantra, runs on the board are what, Monarch? Runs on the board.
Well, the game's not over yet.
Yes.
The game is definitely not over. The game is definitely not over. We've seen many games go all the way down to the wire. I'm presuming that this one will. Captain Anisa, hopefully she's okay to bat. Once she bats, I think Trinidad will still have the advantage.
If she bats, and Alexander being pulled forward by Mango, very petite in stature, perhaps the shortest player of the tournament, short in height, but not short in quality, not short in skill. And she comes around, and that is wide, and it runs away. Will it get to the boundary? They're running one, it's clawing up. They will only get 2. Could it have been 3? Perhaps yes, and that is 2 wides. And Mango could ill afford to do that.
So 3 runs.
Giving up 3 precious runs.
Yes. And it's very, I'm not sure. I mean, every time in the middle of the batters making that attempt to take the second run, there's always a hesitation. Not sure why. I mean, and I think that has cost them at least 5 or 6 runs so far. Here we go, an easy single and a chance at a run out. I don't think Ram Harak was in her creases yet, but the keeper misses. She had to go go to the leg side in a forward short leg position. Pick the ball up, throw it back at the stumps, miss the stump. So another run to the Trinidad and Tobago
Alexander.
Red Force DJs. It is 26 for 6. 14 runs needed for victory for Trinidad and Tobago. 4 wickets for Guyana.
Mango coming right arm round the wicket to the left-hander Ram Harak. It's all happening here at the St. Paul Sporting Complex. Persons felt we would have been on the beach by now. That was not to be. The Divisions thought they might have been halfway back home by now. That was not to be. At the end of the 15th over, 26 for the loss of 6. Trinidad and Tobago in search of 40 runs in all of 20 overs for victory. Will they get there? Can they get there? When will they get there? If they'll get there? These are some of the questions asking. And I now have to make way for my colleague Wilman McCall, who will see you through to the end, one way or the other.
Okay, so 5 overs to go, 14 runs needed for Trinidad and Tobago. And so Schultz will be taking up the bowling from the southern end.
Alexander.
And
The bowler.
Last over.
Schultz, so far she's bowled 3 overs, 1 maiden, 3 runs, 1 wicket. And she'll be coming up. She'll be coming in. This is the last over for sure. Alexander will be the batter on strike. She is joined at the crease, of course, by Ram Harak, who has not yet scored. Alexander is on 1.
Okay, Schultz, of course, she has done her bit while she batted. And now she's doing yeoman service for Guyana. She bowls. This one was chopped into the ground by Alexander. Big, strong-looking young lady, and seems capable of sending it far, but the opportunities are not presented her by the tight bowling of the Guyanese.
And Alexander swishes outside the off stump, misses, and that one goes through to the keeper. Schultz again in a final over.
I think they should just be playing her out and allowing the other bowlers to come through. Well, single out in the offside, quick one. The direct hit. A direct hit, but she was well in her ground, Alexander, by the time that hit. A fantastic throw, of course, knocking over the stumps, but Alexander was well home. I always...
Even though her technique, though, was not the technique that is preferred, where she was just definitely dipping her back over the crease instead of sliding it into the crease.
Good observation, Monarch.
All right, another one missed outside the off stump again. Schultz.
The last delivery, I'm told.
So it's now what? 3.5 for 4 runs, 1 wicket.
Keeping it tight. And I always thought that the dot balls would come into play. And I always thought so. And for some reason, nobody believed me. And now the dot balls are telling, and they're telling.
There's 4 more overs to go in the game.
That is correct.
3
But
3 fours and the game is over.
But let's go back to 4 overs ago. Let's
Well,
go back 4 overs ago.
That's
They were 21.
I
Am
know,
right?
but that's
4 overs ago.
yeah, but that's immaterial
It's
right
immaterial,
now.
Okay. I stand corrected, but at least I always thought that the Guyanese they work to a plan always. They bowl you the 10 overs quickly with a lot of dot balls. So eventually you find yourselves behind. Now with just 39 runs to play with, I think they have bowled very well given the circumstances.
Oh, they have absolutely. They've bowled
Wide of off stump.
wide.
Oh, this indiscretion. Wide ball. Yeah. You can ill afford, when you've made 39 runs, you can ill afford wide balls like that or gifts like that.
So far, Mangrove's two overs, 2 for 5, and there's a nice shot, dabbing this one down to a wide third man, picks up another single. So Trinidad and Tobago is ticking off the runs very easily. 12 runs for victory.
Well, I wouldn't use the word easily, but they're taking the runs off. But that ball was wide of our stump, a little wide, giving her the room to free her arms and touch it down to a short third man area.
There's Schultz again, essaying a drive outside the off stump. Ramharak, I'm sorry,
Yes.
misses everything, and that one went through to the keeper, who has already gotten a stump in today.
There should be a run out. Okay, what happened there is that
Another mix-up again from the batters.
miscommunication.
Uncertainty, probably no calling, and I understand that they're trying to, they're showing intent
Yes.
by wanting to take that single, but you still have to be sensible with it. And the sensible thing to do really is for you to call. And at that particular point, it definitely didn't look like it was a single. Maybe a 3/4 single, but not a full single. Luckily, though, for the Trinidad and Tobago team, all's well that ends well, as they say.
That's what they say.
The
But you see,
score is
Ale-
still 28.
Alexander
29 actually for 6.
Alexander could take the blame for a lot of things. There were about 3 twos that she gave up one on most of them. She didn't turn for a second one when it was there for a second one. And she didn't try. She's outrun out. She's outrun out, Alexander. A good throw from the square leg area. And the wicketkeeper collected, dislodged the bail. She was not in her grounds, and she was given out, run out, Alexander.
Well, that just doesn't make, much sense at all. I mean, there was no urgency from the batter in getting into her crease. She was striding into the crease as if she was there. But Alexander goes down, 29 for 11. And if I'm not mistaken,
29 for 7.
29 for 7. What did I
She,
say?
she, for 11.
11.
That's all right.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But
29 for 7. And like I said before, Alexander was involved in a couple of runs where 2 runs were clearly on, but she did not take those second runs. And I wondered why. And now there they are, desperation set in. They're trying to take quick singles. That is not the case. The running is not good. The calling apparently is a little off. And they have allowed Guyana to creep right back into this game. And I believe it came from simply dot balls.
well, I don't, I don't think, Guyana has creeped back into the game. I think the game has been the way that it is all along.
All along, okay.
I think it's been evenly balanced. I still think that it's evenly balanced.
And you still think
because
Trinidad could win?
11
By all
runs.
win. By all
11 runs. Any one of the teams can win the game here right now. And as I say, I think Anisa Mohammed, as I say, she limped off the field during the innings break. And so we'll see what happens, whether or not she bats today.
Well, I took a time to go downstairs and find out a thing or two. And she seemed to be She seemed to be okay. I think she will bat if it's necessary for her so to do. And the lady told me she's already padded, so I'm told. So I'm hoping that she would be able to bat, her in this innings and giving Trinidad the opportunity to win this game. Of course, Guyana, on the other hand, would hope otherwise, and they have done fairly well to rock back and set back the Trinidadian batters and put them in a position where they become desperate, and desperation brings mistake. And once you make mistakes, once you transgress, then you give opportunity for the opposition to take wickets. Monisa will start from this end. Monisa.
Number 14.
Yes, that's it. What Monisa. Monisa to Ramnarat. She pulls and she misses. She's out LBW. A ball directed on the stumps. She got into her wicket. She pulled. She missed. And she was adjudged LBW by umpire Carl Tuckett.
Well, that's the eighth wicket to go down. Ramharak, dropped her bat in disappointment. I don't think it was the fact that she felt she wasn't out.
She's disappointed that she's out.
That ball was heading towards middle and leg. Keeping low, another short ball, and we've seen one other batter who went down pretty similar to that LBW, Chanel Sa, I think.
Yes.
She was out in a very similar fashion, playing across the line.
Missing.
So it's drama here, and as I said, I think every game that I've seen here so far, barring one at the St. Paul's Recreation Ground, has gone all the way down to the wire. And this one, I think, will go down to the wire as well. Captain Anisa Mohammed is at the crease. And if Anisa Mohammed is there for the next 2 overs, I think the game will be over.
Well, it's 29
In the
now
Red Force's favor.
for 8.
10 for super over, 11 for the win.
29 for 8. It's been that way since I came to this position. 2 wickets have fallen. Anisa Mohammed, who walked off with a limp from some injury, she's now facing. She pushes out quietly to the offside. And of course, it seems as though her movement is a little impaired, given she walked off with a limp. And even when she's going to the wicket, she had a limp. She comes down, hit up over extra cover. This could run close to the boundary. It's pulling by, there's just one run. Because it's now 30 for 8. Alisa Mohammed off the mark with 1. And if anyone can win it for Trinidad, would be Anisa Mohammed. Monisa, of course, operating, going a little wide of Mohammed, and she slammed it over extra cover for 1.
She was going to bat, she should have gone. You wait till 7 wickets.
Here is Monisa. Now she's bowling to Ramnath. She stands up straight, though the ball kept low. She stands up straight and she punched it out to short extra cover. And Monisa again. Pushes again out to the offside. Again. Dot balls. Create pressure. Then pressure brings you wickets. And so that's the case. 39 runs. It's now 30 for 8. So there, I wish you can get runs and balls now. That will help me. Runs, 10 would win them the game. And 10 from 13. It's down to the wire. Driven down to the long off position, into the boundary for 4. Beautiful shot by Ramnath. She got a full delivery, just put bat on it and placed it well, and all the way to the boundary for 4 runs.
Was there a misfield?
No. Well placed.
So,
That 4 has done damage to the efforts of the Guyanese.
so 5 runs for a super over, 6 runs for victory. And even though Anisa Mohammed is limping a little bit, I think everything hinges on her right now as it relates to Red Force Divas victory. But the game is very close. And that's what we like, a T20 game with excitement.
It's very close here. There is one person out in the deep. The new bowler. Mango. Mango is the bowler. Yes.
And she's in her final over.
Anisa Mohammed goes long. She goes hard. She goes all the way for 4. Down on the long on boundary. Hitting it over long on and into the boundary. You see her movement is impaired. She cannot move very well. Running singles is not an option. So she'll take in the long route. She's deciding to go long.
Well, she does that. I mean, she's one of them who I've seen hit 6s down here. So,
And that
2 runs,
that's 4 runs.
2 runs to win.
Yeah, maybe right. Yes, 2 runs to win. 1, 2, even. Another way.
So 1 run for a super over, 2 runs for victory. Anisa Mohammed facing Mangro, and she drives this one. Oh, and
And
she's
just
out.
caught. Well caught. Well caught there.
And
in the
this
cover
one
over.
was going away. This one was going away from the feeler, but she took a good catch over her shoulder. Anisa Mohammed is gone, so more excitement. But Trinidad still has the upper hand. 1 run for super over, 2 runs for victory. You just have to tap and run
Yes,
at this particular point.
Anisa Mohammed has done damage to the Guyanese effort anyway. With those 2 boundaries, she has almost removed. She has almost removed the advantage from the Guyanese back to the Trinidadians. But with that catch, she's out, and now there's 1 wicket to go, 1 run to score, and 1 that will take you 38. It is 38 for 8. 38 for 9. 1 wicket, 1 run for being even, and 2. Right, 9 wickets are down. This is simply too much pressure. There's a Tantimola affair going on here.
Well, shouldn't be that much pressure to get 1 run. And I see that they've dragged the long
In
the
she comes
mid
now.
on.
And she's out. She's bowled. Comprehensively bowled. She kneels at her stumps. Disappointment.
Right.
She was bowled comprehensively.
All right, so Trinidad and Tobago goes down 38 all out. And Guyana, they're celebrating because there's this absolute opportunity for them to win the tournament. So, 39 all out Guyana, 38 all out TNT. Another close game here in St. Paul's. Guyana winning by the slightest of margin, winning here by 1 run.
Guyana clutching, grabbing, taking victory from the jaws of defeat. If ever there was a moment when a team actually grabbed victory from the jaws, not only the jaws, they had to dig down into the belly because everything had been swallowed up, and they dragged out victory. And again, my favorite player, Mango, on her last over, giving away some runs, but coming back and taking the prize wicket. And Guyana have done themselves well. They have gone to 12, 16 points. They've put all the pressure on Barbados. Barbados will have to win against the Leewards and win handsomely to get their net run rate above that of Guyana. We'll have to turn to the statisticians to tell us what is the net run rate of the Guyanese, because it will come down to that. It will come down to how Barbados wins against the Leeward Islands. The Guyanese, they have done it. They have done all that they can. And this young team, very jubilant indeed. A very, very young Guyanese team. It'll be interesting to find out the average age. Perhaps not much above 20, I'm guessing. But extremely elated. And all Guyanese in the Guyana, here in St. Kitts and Nevis, in the West Indies, all around the world, no doubt they're jumping and they're partying. The Trinidad and Tobago's, on the other hand, looking extremely dejected, and they should be, Monarch, because it was their game to win and the Guyanese to lose. But my adage, runs on the board, are runs on the board. Runs on the board and runs on the board. And our
Well, I don't think that it really mattered how much runs it is. I mean, this run should have been easily scored.
I agree.
I think the issue with the Trinidad team, if Anissa Mohammed was going to bat like she did, she needed to bat earlier. I think that's where Trinidad lost the plot.
game. Exactly.
They lost the plot because she's one of their seasoned players. Yes, she may have been injured, but I think though, with the amount of runs needed, once 5 wickets went down, I thought that she needed to come to the wicket with her experience. She didn't have to do that much running because there was not that many runs to go. So I thought Trinidad lost the plot there, but congratulations to the Guyanese team. They played a very good game. And I don't know if you can hear them in the background, but they are downstairs celebrating the victory here, because now it all depends on the Leewards Barbados game to see exactly whether or not Barbados could turn that net run rate around in order to win the tournament. So there you have it from here at the St. Paul's Recreation Ground. An exciting win for Team Guyana over the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force Divas. Guyana scored 39, a paltry 39, mind you, in 19.3 overs. And TNT, they replied with 38 in 18.4 overs. So, the winner, Guyana, and they're waiting now to hear, I guess, the results of the Barbados Leeward Islands game in order to determine the winner of the CWI Women's T20 Blaze here in St. Kitts.
I agree with you, Monarch. Were Anissa Mohammed to have batted higher, the game could have been much different, but that it was not. The Guyanese, they have basically done the impossible. They have grabbed victory from the jaws